Hey, what's up? You've just quit smoking weed, or either you are considering to stop smoking weed. Either way, you've gone to the right place because in this video I'm gonna tell you exactly how you're going to redesign your new life and make sure you don't fall back into the awful habit of smoking weed, whether this is daily or just with friends. You have clicked on this video because you know it's a bad habit and you know you gotta quit it and get to do something with your life. So come with me and I'll show you the way. First off, let me give you a little backstory because my name is Sam and I have been struggling with the abuse of weed for almost 10 years. And I know, like no one else, how hard it can be to redesign your new life, since your whole life after all these years is built on the habit of smoking weed or cannabis or hashish or anything like it. And you gotta leave all that behind and therefore redesign your life completely. And no problem, I'm gonna help you. So I want to start with you to make very clear why you shouldn't smoke weed and why it's the best idea for you to quit and to redesign your life. First thing, the most important above all, is the problem with weed is it makes you feel productive. It makes you feel good. And once you've been filling your whole day with smoking weed, it makes you feel like, okay, I've been productive today, while in fact you've done shit. So this is a very, very important one. You might feel like you have a good time and maybe you feel like creative, but the truth is, and you know it, you've done shit. Another very important one is that time really flies. Especially when you feel good, you'll notice that time's passed way faster than when you're sober and focused on work and actually creating something. And well, for me, this was also the reason that years snapped like this, and all of a sudden I was 22 years old and being a little junkie and no clue what to do with my life. To make the choice to stop smoking weed had helped me to become the person I am today, to be now living in Medellin, working an online sales job and be able to work wherever I want and enjoy the beautiful things of life. And well, one more thing, what's really bad about weed is that it obviously influences your brain. It makes you feel productive, but also it eats away your memory. For example, I used to have quite good memory, but after all those years of smoking weed, my short-term memory is totally faded. So if you like ask me what I've done last weekend or what I ate yesterday, it's very, very hard for me to remember those simple short-term things. And well, it's quite disturbing, and you obviously want to just keep this intact and not fuck up your brains by smoking this toxic shit. Another thing is your social circle. Of course, you're usually not smoking alone. You're smoking with these people that you have around. You think those are your friends, but if you take a serious look, you'll see that you're only hanging out together to smoke weed together. And once you quit smoking weed, they will lose interest in you, as it should, because you should lose interest in them as well. And these are not the people you want to surround yourself with. And just besides the habit of smoking weed, they'll probably influence you in various other ways which are not good for you to become the person you want to be. And last but not least, the money. If you smoke like 1 gram of weed, like a real user, like I used to be, it cost nowadays at least $10 a day. It's not a lot of money, but in a month, $300. There are way better ways to spend it. So I'm happy to show you the way and hopefully inspire you to keep strong and not fall back into this horrible habit. So let's start with what you actually are going to lose once you quit this habit. First and foremost, something to do. Right now, if you have any spare time, you're probably thinking, okay, I'll be smoking some joint, maybe listening to some music, or maybe hanging out with these guys and smoke something. This is obviously gonna fall away, so be very aware of the fact that how you spend your time is going to change completely, especially your schedule. For example, you're probably the guys with who you smoke weed, they're probably also inviting you in the weekends to party and to drink. And obviously you can't be around those people anymore. If it's like a serious problem you have, you smoke daily and you want to seriously quit this, you need to take really rigorous choices. And for example, you cannot hang out with the same people anymore. So this means also on the weekends you probably lose a lot of recurring events. For example, the same parties, you can't go to the same house parties, maybe going out with the same group of friends. All of this is going to fade away, and this is something you need to be very aware of. Same for places where you go. For example, well, in my country, Netherlands, there's like coffee shops, like a cafe where you can smoke weed. This is obviously number one place where you can't be around anymore. But same is for a certain person's house, a certain place outside where you used to go with friends, sit in the park or something. This is all places where you can't go anymore. So you need to be very aware of what those places are and the fact that you can't come there anymore, because it's gonna influence you in a bad way. And like I mentioned before, alcohol, if you're like a really like a real abuser of drugs, you're using this daily with friends but also alone, and you're trying to quit this, you might as well stop drinking any alcohol, because this works kind of in the same way. And once you drink a lot of alcohol and you get influenced by it, you get drunk, it's obviously really easy to fall back in smoking weed as well. So when I first quitted weed, I told myself, no, I'm not going to quit alcohol. But eventually I decided to do so, because it makes the whole process really much easier to just say, I'm not using any substance. And I can very much recommend you to do the same. And yeah, I already mentioned it a little bit, but your social circle is going to completely change dependent on how deep you are in this rabbit hole. For example, my experience is that my whole social circle was using weed. For me, it felt like everybody can smoke weed, only I can't because I have this problem. And this is obviously not the case. So be aware that you are losing your social circle if you take this seriously. But now we're going to the funny part, because let's take a dive into what you're actually going to gain once you quit smoking weed. And there's a lot. The first thing is time. You are going to win and gain a lot of time. For first instance, because when you smoke weed, you're really slow. Everything is slow. You take a lot of time to dress up, to eat, to cook. Anything just takes more time. And obviously, since you're not smoking weed anymore, you save like multiple hours a day, which you have to relocate how you're going to spend this time. So be very aware of the fact that you're going to have a lot of time on your hands, which is obviously a good thing, because this is the most valuable asset you possess, especially when you're young. And the second thing is money. It might be not so much to you, it can be actually a real lot to you, but well, for a month, let's say you save for at least $300, and well, there's some fun stuff you can spend this on. For example, membership in the gym, membership in a fighting gym. You could take multiple girls out on dates every month. You can buy something fun for your mother, maybe for yourself, some clothes or anything to make yourself feel good and have a good experience, instead of being this little fucking junkie and smoking your life away on the couch watching some stupid movie. Another thing you're going to win, and this is also very interesting, is a very clear mind. I remember I used to be really foggy when I smoked weed. It was like I was in a continuous trance. I remember I also never liked to be stoned. Actually, I was just smoking for the sake of it. But once you get stoned, and obviously when you use a lot, it's not funny anymore. It's not like you're going to be happy or laughing or anything like it. It's just that you're going to be in this trance and your mind is blurry. and this is going to change. It will take some investment from you, a lot of sleepless nights and crazy nightmares and waking up all sweated and fucked up. But once this will pass, after a few weeks, maybe a month, and then you will get back to like a very clear mind in which you can think very clearly. And this is obviously really important to use this in a good way. And last but not least, the most important part is you are going to gain a lot of freedom, since all these things I just mentioned all going to fall away. The way you spend your time, the friends you hang around, the places where you go is all going to fall away, and therefore you get back a lot of freedom to redesign your life exactly how you want it to be. And this is the fun part. Probably you have no clue how to do it, so I'm gonna take you with me to the next slide I have in front of me to tell you exactly how you do it, what to do. Well, the first and most important thing about redesigning your life is redesigning the person you are. James Clear says in his book Atomic Habits, a durable change. And the most important thing to achieve this is your identity, to be sure what person you want to be. For example, I used to be a junkie. I was always on the couch, smoking, drinking alcohol now and then in the weekends, always, sometimes through the week, going to football matches, getting fucking wasted every time. And well, obviously, if you want to quit these habits, you need to make sure who you're actually going to be, because you can take all this away and don't replace it with something new. Then you're doomed to fail. You probably understand that. So for everything you take away, you need to put something in place. And this is the good part, because since there's a lot going away, there's also a lot which you can replace it with and shape your new identity. For example, I told myself I was a junkie, but now I'm going to be an athlete. So I tripled down on sports, on sleep, on health, like diet and everything, to make sure I'm really healthy, to produce good results on the running track, for example, in the gym or in the boxing gym. For me, I chose to get into combat sports. Muay Thai is my sport of choice, which I can really recommend for you also to do. And besides that, I decided to get into the gym and into running. I decided one of the main pillars of being an athlete was for me to run a marathon. I have a lot of books and goals and lists where I write down I am a marathon runner, I am an athlete, I run marathons. Well, last week, you've maybe seen my last video, but I actually did my first marathon here in the beautiful Medellin. So this is obviously a big achievement towards this new identity of being an athlete. And this is, I think, a really easy one, which I can really recommend, but it's obviously not the only choice you have. You can choose, for example, to become an artist. Tell yourself, I am an artist, I produce art daily. And this can be making music, singing, playing some instrument. This can be making some art, maybe writing stuff down. For example, daily journaling is a really good habit which can help you to keep consistent with your new identity. But also you can choose to be a professor, get into the books, find a subject which you're interested in and go make it yours and learn everything about it and use it to maybe pursue a new career. Or I wrote down in this slide, philosopher. You can get into Greek mythology, and well, over all these years there's a lot which have been said and written down, and you can get into it and make it your thing and make it your new identity, that you're all into philosophy. For example, find a new hobby, become a fisher, a doctor. Well, this might be not the best choice, hanging around in cafes all the time, but I hope you get the concept. You need to be very aware of the new person you are going to be. And I would obviously recommend to become an athlete, and yeah, as well, because this is just I think the most extreme opposite. So you can't hang out with people who drink or smoke anymore. Artists, for example, may do those things, and athletes, proper ones, don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs. So this is the best I can recommend, which worked for me very well. But once you have written this down, there will still be temptations when you walk in the street, for example in my country, but here in Medellin it's the same. You smell weed everywhere. Yeah, this is still going to be a temptation to seduce you to get back into this habit. And what I found to be the best way to protect yourself from these temptations is to stack up daily wins, to get the feeling that you're on the right path, and that it would be an extra loss if you now fall back into this habit, because you just have had these wins in your pocket. And the thing I'm talking about then is like daily habits. And there's a lot obviously you can do if you get a little bit in self-development. You hear people talk about meditation, ice baths, go on and go on. There's a lot of options. What I would recommend is to start with the bare basics to make it easier to achieve the same feeling of achievement, of achieving tasks. What I would recommend, you could use an accountability mirror. This is something which David Goggins designed. I made a video about as well. And this helps you to get certain habits in place. For example, start with making your bed every day. Make sure every time you get out of bed, you make the bed. Make sure that there's no clothes around the house, only clothes folded up or either hung up on a hanger in the closet. Make sure the dishes are always done. Make sure, for example, your shoes are never lost in the house, but always in the same place. Like I have them over here, and to make sure that your room or your house is always neat and everything is in a certain place where it belongs. These are some small habits. You can probably think about some others yourself, and what I would recommend you to do is to write them down. Start simple. Maybe start with only making the bed every day for 1 week. After 1 week you've made the bed every day, you feel confident. Okay, I got this. I can actually keep the promises I make to myself. Then you start putting another one to it. For example, putting your shoes always in the same place, neat, at the same time. Or cleaning the house or doing the dishes. Make sure that every day before you go to bed, all dishes are done. And this will help you to daily experience a feeling of achievement, which will make it even harder to fall back into your bad habit of smoking weed, because you've just done all these good things. So that's something I can really recommend you to do. And the most important part is obviously what I already told with you about, to replace every old habit or every old place you visit or every old activity you used to do with a new one. This is obviously really dependent on your own situation, but I can only give you some examples. For example, the places you visit. If you used to be in the coffee shop 3 times a week, well, you can't obviously come there anymore. Replace this coffee shop with the gym. Every time you wanted to go to the coffee shop, you're now going to the gym. Get yourself a membership. Make sure you're working out 3 times a week. And in this way, the time you are not spending in the coffee shop anymore, you're spending somewhere else. So there's no, this time you can't go to the coffee shop anymore because you have to be in the gym. Same as with activities. When you used to smoke a lot at home in your house, trying to replace this activity with, for example, cooking, preparing food for dinner, for lunch. Try to get some healthy food in. You can try and replace it with maybe reading a book, which I can very, very well recommend you to do, to start reading and to make this a new habit of yours instead of smoking weed. Or you can try and get into the boxing gym, try and meet new people. This is obviously a very, very important part of it. You need to build a new circle around you where you can portray yourself as this new person you are, instead of the junkie you were around your old friends. Now you're meeting new people, so you get the opportunity to present yourself as the new person you are, as the athlete you now are. So I would really much recommend to get in the regular gym to talk with people over there, but especially get into the boxing gym, because this is more like an environment where you're training together, and this is obviously an easy way to connect with those people. And this is, in most cases, people who don't use drugs. If you're lucky, they also don't drink, they don't smoke, and this is the kind of people you need around you in your new designed life. So this is a very good way to meet new people and to also get inspired by them, how they live their lives, and you can learn obviously a lot from them. And this is obviously different if you chose to redesign your life with another identity. For example, when you become an artist, you can follow some art class, or if you become a professor, you can go to the library more often, and well, just try to find new places where you can meet new people and show yourself as a new person for this new identity you chose. And in some way, these people are going to get you accountable, because they expect certain actions from you, and you're obviously going to try to deliver on those expectations. So this is the most important thing. I hope that this has gotten you some inspiration on how to change your life in a way that you're not going to use drugs anymore, but you're very clear on how you're going to redesign your new life. Please let me know what you think about the video. Maybe if I missed something, or maybe if you think I'm talking shit, or you agree on this subject. I'm very curious what you guys think, so leave a comment down below. Get yourself a subscription on the channel, and I hope to get you more videos which will help you to stay sober. So thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one tomorrow. Cheers.